Hello, arty peoples, and welcome to another episode of Jerry's Live. My name is Emmy Klein, and I'm your host this evening. And as you can see, we have the one, the only, amazing,
oh my gosh,
Ophelia Staton.
hello.
So today's show I'm so excited about because if you've been watching the show for a while, you all know my background is illustration, and I'm a very representational painter. Ophelia is abstract, and I love her work. It's amazing. Beautiful, beautiful things. But I struggle to do what Ophelia does.
You got it.
So, what better to do this than to just bring in the queen herself?
Oh man, that's very nice. That's very nice. I want to meet this queen.
So, today's show is Jerry's Live 246. So, if you are interested in anything we are using while Ophelia makes me abstract paint. Oops, sorry, there was a bug that just flew in my face. That almost had my mouth. Sorry. If you are interested in anything we are using throughout the show, make sure to go to the website jerrysartorama.com, and in the top search bar, type in today's class code, which is JL246. So, let's get started.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Very excited.
Okay.
What are we doing?
Well, we are going to take our 10 by 10 canvas, and we're just going to kind of have fun. And a couple of things, and I'm a teacher, so there's always a backstory, and there's always way too much explanation.
Which is never enough. There's no such thing. Limit does not exist.
That is fair. So I just opened this canvas because we've got some other ones that we have already primed or prepped, and even though it comes from, it comes pre-gessoed, I always feel as though I gesso it as a way of showing up, if that makes sense. Like,
it does.
Getting myself going. But we did it ahead of time so that we won't have to wait for things to dry.
Yes. Now, mine is already gessoed and ready to rock. Yours is not.
It is not.
But we need to get it gessoed.
Yes. And so I just end up using a pretty thin layer of just white gesso, and I've put some over here. And it honestly can be, or I should say it this way, however you wish to do it is fine. If you want to leave some texture there, it's totally fine because it's your canvas, it's your creation. But I will literally just, you can kind of see it glistening almost like a piece of watercolor paper when you put water on it, and it's not too much. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we've done here. And it's also okay if you don't get every single thing covered. This just kind of helps me show up, if that makes sense. So now
I understand. And it also makes sense that you don't worry too much about making sure that every little square inch is covered because it's already pre-gessoed.
Right.
This is just to kind of give it additional surface.
Absolutely. And so I've got it gessoed here, ready to go. It's just a quick kind of, put a thin layer on. When you are doing this, and sometimes in my studio, I will do a bunch of them at the time so that I don't have to wait, because then there's a backup way of showing up that I always do. So, I'm not sure about you, Emmy, but my favorite paints here at Jerry's, and the ones I'm most familiar with, are the Lukas Cryl Acrylics.
I love all paint equally.
Okay.
I'm like
fair.
the mom. I love all my children.
This is
but
fair.
I love them all for very different reasons. So I do love the Lukas Cryl Studio. It is a fantastic paint. It's very creamy.
It is.
It's got that pigment that you always know and love, and it goes a very long way.
It does. It does. And the finish is just beautiful.
It is.
I feel as though with this color range, I'm not searching to fill in holes. So, when I started painting abstracts, I was kind of hit or miss because I wasn't quite sure. And I had to take a step back and kind of play and research some to get things together. And so the first thing I did was I had to make sure that I learned my colors. I swatched them all out here so that you can see there are, 70 colors, I think it is. Or
oh, you're gonna be testing
yeah, I
me.
know. I can't remember now. Oh, and there's more. Yep.
There's a lot of colors in the Lukas
I want to say
line.
70 or 76, somewhere around there.
It's somewhere.
What I like with this is I've now swatched them all out so I can see them on that white surface to kind of mimic what a canvas would look like. And here I get to audition the ones that I would want to use. I don't now just kind of grab a tube and hope it's going to work.
Gotcha.
The next thing is, after I look at this and I'm like, oh, well, I like this color, this color, this color. I keep those swatched in this sketchbook, but then we move over to this one. And I told you there's a whole lot of backstory.
Now, I'm going to actually move this just out of the way so we can kind of shift this over here.
Are we good?
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure that everyone can see it really well,
Okay.
kind of right in the middle of the screen. So
Perfect.
you guys can really enjoy these swatches that she's done because
Oh, yes. Do we need to put this one back here again? Just
I was
in
going to
case.
say, maybe.
Just
We
in
can, I mean,
case.
we can have them both on there.
Okay, so this is the entire line and all of them swatched out. So now I'm not haphazard anymore about my creating. Over here, when I say like, I had to make sure that I learned my colors because a lot of times I would paint things before and I would say like, oh my gosh, that's a really pretty color combination. How did I get there? And I had no idea. So I started keeping myself like notes on my paint palettes or whatever. And this is kind of like a dress rehearsal in that I get to test things out.
Yeah.
So, for instance, you know, I can see like this looks really pretty together and these colors are usually my go-to just to make the painting easy. However, let's have a look at it and if I can kind of show you what I do when I'm wanting to add a new color in or, you know, maybe try out a new color. Like I did not even realize out of all of this until the other day, Prussian blue. And I was like, oh, that's one I've not even played with. Wait, what? So I had to go through all of this again. So what I like to do, for instance, is I've got the colors laid out and I'm like, okay, I think these are the ones that I want to use today. And pardon me in advance, Emmy, but I'm going to use my fingers.
I mean,
okay,
you do you.
Perfect. I'm just going to get myself some
a little bit of, like,
Indian
variety.
yellow.
Okay.
I know. And then I'm going to put some of this orange here. And I don't even need to swatch out the white yet, but I do use a lot of white to just kind of bring myself back if I've gone too wild. So I've got these two, and it's like, yeah, okay, great. Looking good so far. And then I'm going to add, so I've got Indian yellow, cad orange, cad red deep. So far, everything looks good, reminds me of fire, lovely. I then think like, okay, this is perfect where it is. I could take a little bit of, just a little, of this white and see what things would look like if everything went together. Beautiful. I'm still loving what I'm doing.
Really lovely color.
Love now, I want to kind of wrap it up and bring it all together. So I then pull out this turquoise and I've got myself a Payne's gray here. The turquoise I know would look great almost as like a punch color, but I have to be very careful because if these two mix, do you see how you get that purple, which would be great if you want purple, but if you don't want purple, then you have to make sure they don't mix.
That makes sense.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes for the Payne's gray. Like I love how it looks, but I just know I have to be really careful right here and make sure that this situation dries before I throw this in.
So,
okay?
Wild question. What happens if you mix Payne's gray with any of those other colors?
It's going to be, and I just kind of stop it here, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, I stop it here so that these three mix and mingle beautifully. These two mix and mingle beautifully. And I'll show you a trick around it in just a moment. However, valid question. If, for instance, I mean, you know, it's going to be a really pretty color if you plan it that way. But that blue, I mean, that Payne's gray and that yellow is going to give you kind of a foresty greenish situation, which again, if that's what you want, it'll be perfect.
Yeah.
However, if that's not what you were expecting, then you're like, oh, wait, I didn't want that. So that's why I always say make sure you learn your colors.
Makes sense.
Okay?
Absolutely.
So, the next thing, as an abstract painter, and I promise we'll paint eventually this evening. I
This
promise.
is also super important, so I'm happy you're going over it.
Yes, and I do this so that when I start actually painting, I'm not even stopping or thinking. It's just fluid.
This is like all the preliminary work so that you can just
There you
go
are.
do it.
Now
And
you're
I
just
love
going,
it.
and I don't even have to think about it because I've learned this selection of colors like the back of my hand. So whichever colors that you're using, that's what you want to do, is you learn those colors.
Okay, because I have not learned your colors.
Oh,
So I'm going to be learning them on the fly.
you will, and see, you're great at on the fly. I'm
We
like
will
an
see.
overthinker
We will
person.
see.
So, another thing that I'd love for us to talk about are the tools that we're going to use for mark making. As
It's
an
not just
abstract painter.
paintbrushes.
Oh gosh, no, yeah, I've not. No, there's so much, and to be honest, the supplies have been pretty simple because I like to keep it simple so that I don't get overwhelmed by all the things.
Yeah.
Couple of paints, a canvas, and some mark making tools, brush and a palette knife, and let's roll. After
easy.
Ophelia finishes all of her stories. But anywho, so
Yes.
I just want to cut in real quick. We are having some sound issues with YouTube.
Oh,
So
no.
we do have some YouTube viewers coming over to Facebook. Could we
Gotcha.
just get a real quick recap of what you're doing, because they
absolutely.
So sorry about that. If you guys are on YouTube, I do apologize, and I can actually see them working behind the scenes. They are trying to fix that sound issue for you guys, but if you are over here on Facebook, we are still going. So we're still going to be rock and rolling. So a quick recap.
Oh, me recapping
Yes,
or you?
I mean-
I feel like it was a teacher student. Now you're okay.
I don't want to teach. I can't teach the Ophelia staff.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we are just actually doing a little bit of background work before we start into an abstract painting. And I've literally just been walking us through my selection of paints. And this is the Lukas Cryl Studio line. And that's the one that I use most often. I like that there's a genius selection of color, and I can stay in this line and not have to search other places. So we've
And they
got
all play well with each other.
they do.
The
They do.
consistency, the
Absolutely, the finish
mixing
is
it,
just
yeah.
gorgeous. So I've swatched them all out here so that we can see what they look like. Then we select colors, and now we do like a little dress rehearsal.
Yeah. So you're building your color palette.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And this literally just takes a bit of time, even if it's before you start painting, to just kind of see, oh, I wonder what would happen if we took that Payne's Gray and mixed it with that Indian Yellow. We'll get a groovy color, but if that's not what you want, then you learn to shy away from that.
Don't mix those colors together.
Right.
Or layer them after they've dried. Right?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. So we've got some Indian Yellow, some Cad Orange, some Cad Red Deep, and then as kind of a punch color or like a boom, I've got turquoise here. And you can see right here, if I let them mix, it's going to make a really pretty violet or purple color. But if that's not what I want with my fire, then I just kind of keep it clean and let everything dry.
Okay.
Okay, so the next thing, I don't think, and somebody asked me, and I don't think I can create a painting without this Jerry's Jumbo Jet black pencil.
She's obsessed. She does love these so much, and I totally understand why.
Mine at home is like this big, and I think I'm gonna get a necklace or something made now because it's covered in paint, and it's literally this big. But anywho,
We have another
I've
question?
done this with normal size colored pencils, and all you need is a really tiny drill bit.
Oh.
I'm gonna bring mine to you.
No,
we're gonna have
no, not to me. I didn't do it. Somebody else did
Oh,
it.
that's fair. That's fair.
All right, we'll make it happen.
Yep. Okay.
So, mark making.
Yes. I like this Jumbo Jet black pencil because it gives me a really dark mark, but without like a graphite shine. And so what I like is if I'm putting myself a mark down and I'm going to blend it with paint or put paint down, and I'm going to put a little bit more paint so you can see what I'm talking about. It kind of makes a little bit of a gray, which I love. I can take this pencil and mark right back into that wet paint. What you want to, again, learn in your colors is if I had this yellow and I mixed it, do you see how I'm going to get that green? If that's
Yep.
what you want, great. But if not, then you kind of hang back and make sure you don't start with yellow.
That makes
Does that
sense.
make sense? So
Totally makes sense.
what I do is I use this for my big marks and my regular number 2 pencil, which I've now found.
Okay, I was like, you've lost it? Okay.
This guy makes my little tiny marks, so just any pencil will work. So, all of that being said, are you ready?
I think so. Let's shift things back over
You bet
to
you.
where
I'm going to move
we
this out of the
can
way.
Get the palette. Because
Any questions for us, or are we still good to...
Everyone's just really excited to see
You sure?
you.
I
Excited
think
to
that's
see what you
about-
guys are gonna do.
All
right.
Let's do it.
So, just so you guys do know, this is the palette that, hopefully this is on screen, because our screen kind of went off, so I can't quite see this. This is the palette that Ophelia is going to be using, that she was just talking about. This is a different palette of Ophelia's that she usually uses, but I have not.
We're going to experiment. And that's
So,
what this is all about.
it
so,
is.
that's
is.
why I love abstract paintings.
Okay.
So, remember I said that as a way of showing up and showing this canvas that I'm boss, I gesso it, even though it doesn't really need it. The next thing that I do to just kind of take the pressure off is I take my Jumbo Jet black pencil and I just make marks. Right. I don't even know if you can see the motion of my hand, but we're done.
I'm going to go left-handed, because I'm a right-handed
fair.
person.
That is fair. Make
Just scribble?
just some marks. Yep.
Not even gonna look.
Nope, because you're perfect. Boom. So now it's almost like all the pressure's off, and that's in my head.
Okay.
It's got to get better from here, is what I always think. And so now I just start going in with paint, and my first idea is almost equated to you getting dressed for a dinner party. You're just getting clothes on.
Okay.
Your job now is to just put some paint to cover this blank canvas.
My
Keeping in
canvas is
mind-
naked. We need to make it
Absolutely.
PG. Got it.
Absolutely. So, remembering how we've learned our colors, I'm just gonna
Oh,
wait.
you're going in with a finger.
Hey, let's
Are we,
do this.
Are we not
We
paintbrushes?
can totally do brushes at this point. I forgot we're big girls.
Woo!
now. And I've lost my rag. No, I didn't. Huh? Tricked me.
It's attached.
Okay,
All right.
there
so,
we are.
This is all right. Any color?
You just we've done that background work.
I'm going to start with beige because I just want to see kind of how that interacts with the.
I think
thingy.
your color palette is going to be so pretty and so soft. But do you see how it's kind of blending, making a cool gray?
Yeah.
I love that about this
Okay.
pencil. And you can also come back in and yeah, just now you're
Anywhere?
scribbling around because remember you're getting dressed for that party. You're just putting clothes on. So
Okay.
go boom
So this
to
is
the
like a
next one.
scarf. Oh, we're going to the,
Oh
next,
yes,
the next
yeah,
one. Okay.
we're
Does it
putting
matter anywhere?
anywhere you want. Remember, it's abstract. And for right now, all I'm doing is just kind of building a background.
Still going in with your hand. All right. I'm going to try.
I
it.
know,
I'm gonna try
sorry.
it.
Yes, do it.
Oh my god.
Get yourself some more paint on there. Get yourself.
I need more paint?
Yep, just boom. There you go. And I always end up using my fingers to kind of blend out the brush strokes.
This is bizarre.
Look, Mom.
I mean, I love this, but like,
I know.
I do not paint like this.
Ugh. And you know what? At first, I was one of like, wait a minute, who paints with their hands when there's a perfectly good brush? But now I get it. It's that feeling, and you get in there, and you're.
The look on Frida's face.
I'm sorry, Frida. I know. I like to do it though, in all honesty, because like this brush stroke action, I use my hand to kind of wipe it away and make everything. Yep, there you go. Right there. And
I was like,
before you know it, you've got it all over you, and
Your apron makes so much more sense now.
because I'm always wiping my hands right here.
Because
So
you guys, I mean, everyone who watches the show generally knows I'm a very clean painter. So like,
Ruh-roh.
I've already
Surprise.
cleaned my hand.
Another
Okay.
thing is, as you're putting down color, don't be afraid to flip your canvas and keep going, because then you can kind of see it from a different way. Like, I love how soft that is with these two colors.
I mean,
It
it's
just-
very pretty.
Boom.
Very pretty. And I love that the marks are showing through, but not like, it's very soft and subtle. Oh, you're going
Building
to the third,
background. Yep, remember these
thing.
three play beautifully together. So when you're looking at
Okay.
yours, like these three would play beautifully together.
So these are all my warm colors,
Perfect.
which would be very similar to yours. They're just, mine's like
Ooh,
a
you
pastel
got your
kind of
pastel
version.
of mine.
I
Yes.
like it. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm just like that palette, but like
You got
Light
yourself
and bubbly.
bubbly. Yes. And then so this what do you call it? Like the brush strokes. I don't know why. I always use my hand to go ahead and get them out. And you could of course get yourself a bigger brush, but I will say this one.
These are pretty.
Yes,
pretty
these
solid.
700B brushes. I use this for gesso. I use it for acrylic paint. I use it for watercolor. I use it for and I know it's
Now,
made
these are-
for watercolor. Is it?
So everyone knows we are using the Polar Flow. These are technically made for watercolors, but we always call these like the workhorse
They are.
of the brushes that we have. They work for everything
They are.
except, granted, for oils because they are synthetic. They're synthetic bristles, so the solvents might actually dissolve
Okay.
your
yep.
bristles a little bit.
I've never touched oil, so I think we're fair.
Yes,
I think
we're
we're
good.
doing great.
We're good.
So, but I just love this brush because it handles everything. Yep.
So as I figured that might happen, the use of our fingers is concerning to some of our viewers.
Absolutely.
Can you explain?
There is, it just left my head, the blue gloves in a bottle. I always pre-treat, and I guess I should have said that first.
Yes.
Because it's almost now so habit that I do it and I don't even think about it because it's literally right at my studio before I can even touch my paint. So I always have my hand like a barrier cream, and it's not like, I don't want anything that's
Toxic
greasy or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
But that's just kind of
And then
barrier cream.
additionally, these are all AP certified non-toxic.
I was, as soon as you were done, I was going to mention that these paints are non-toxic, so I would not ever allow this beautiful, gorgeous woman to hurt herself with paints, and nor would I stick my hand in paint that is not something you're going to hurt. Like, we're not going to hurt ourselves putting our fingers in this paint, but just...
Right. It's you.
That
just
is a
be
valid
careful.
question.
It is
Thank you
very
for
valid.
bringing that up.
Very, very valid. And I just always end up like putting a barrier cream on my hands before I start. One, because then it easily washes off, but then two, I'm protected.
Yeah.
Yep. So
You can also wear gloves. Gloves
yes.
are great.
Yes, you can totally
Right.
wear gloves. Can I just show you something?
You're
here?
already on to the next color.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
sorry. Learning your colors before then allows you to just kind of go.
Yeah.
Two things here, like yours, you'll notice things are still wet. And
Yes.
even we're putting them on in thin layers, but it's still wet. I can bring in my palette knife, and I did not save the little container, but it's the Soho set of palette knives.
These are the plastic ones. They have a great flexibility to them. So you can see I'm pushing on one.
Yes.
They're great.
Yes. This guy. I'm sure there's a technical name.
There is a technical name for it. I call it the triangle flat doohickey.
That is technical enough. That's very fair. Like I feel like I use them all, but these two are the ones.
Okay.
And I should back up for just a second. Like with the Lukas paints, the application, meaning the bottle, I've got this flip top that I can squeeze, or I've got on the larger one, I've got this where I can kind of take it off and
They're
squeeze.
all squeezy bottles. which is
Absolutely.
fantastic.
If you have a jar, like I like to use this palette knife to kind of scoop things out of the jar.
Valid.
But this guy is
Like the
just as
Soho.
much as yes.
Soho acrylics would be great.
Oh yes, the Soho, because then you've got to kind of dig in there to get it. But this guy is just as much as a workhorse as this guy because it's got two sides to it. So this longer side and this shorter side, right?
Okay.
Because all of this is wet, and let's just pretend as I put my finger back into that.
Okay.
Let's just pretend I was ready to add some blue because you say, okay, we got to wrap it up. It's time to go. And I'm like, but wait, I want to show them what we would do with the blue or whatever. I can take this, and because this is clearly Payne's Gray, but I'm just going to show us anyway. Because this is all still wet, and remember I chopped it off at the red, the yellow, and the white. I don't want this to mix with it, which this would still be a pretty color. But I can take this and place that color without physically making the mix unless I wanted.
So you just kind of scrape it on. Gotcha.
And just kind of use it to place it. And I love this because then it's also another mark making tool. Does that make sense?
It does. Ooh, I like those little vertical lines that you're getting.
So I love having that guy around
I think I'm not going to mix this blue as much as I can because I know blue and orange make mud.
Boom.
So this is where knowing your colors come in handy. I'm still holding a palette knife like I'm about to use it as a pointer.
You can totally do that. I'm gonna
but if I let that mix with that orange, it's going to give me a muddy color, and I don't think I want that.
But you see how you're using your brush to kind of place it there?
Yeah, I'm very few brush strokes, and then I'm moving on.
There you go. I feel as
Which
though
I feel...
I'm going to lighten this up a tiny bit.
We have a question on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Does Lukas handle better than hard body acrylics?
It always depends. I feel like it depends on what is good for you.
Yes.
Like our
It's
preference. Yeah. It's always a personal thing because I know some people that love golden. I know some people that absolutely love Liquitex and they hate golden. I know Ophelia who absolutely loves Lukas. But I mean, it's all personal preference. They all just have a slightly different viscosity to them.
Absolutely.
And it's honestly not that big of a difference.
You're right, because there are times when I will pull Soho in. A lot of I don't know. It is personal preference, and I go after color, and not necessarily viscosity.
It's true because all acrylics play well.
Yes,
together.
And I don't know. This drew me in because of the finish and the color range. I do use some heavier body acrylics, but then I always feel as though I have to get my brush a little bit wet to make it move like I want it to move, and this moves exactly like I want it to move. So,
I like
good?
it. Yes.
Oh, I love the
I think
way yours is turning out.
So this is very, this reminds me of Easter.
I love
Since that blue
that.
is still very wet, and I know this pink, because red and blue make purple.
Absolutely. And then do this for me just to entertain me.
Okay.
I want you to take your pencil and just make scribbles. And you kind of scratch into the wet paint.
Do I need to go scribble down?
Hey, guess what? This is your playground. Hey.
Not even looking. Look, Ma, no hands.
I know, right? Remember somebody said oh, I'm not great at abstracts, but I love that.
I mean,
Keep going.
See, I guess the way for me to do abstract is that I don't need to do abstract. I just need to not look.
And not pay attention. That's the one thing, is you're not even paying attention to what you're doing. You're just doing it.
And
so it frees you you're more free to then create and not overthink things.
I will say this is the most enjoyable abstract process I've ever done because, listen,
I'm not judging. I think you're amazing, but
I try my hardest to do abstract, and it's hard for me to do this.
I think you're always so fantastic at it.
And I adore you for that.
I should also mention that these brushes come in 3 sizes, and so...
Oh, they do.
Yes.
I totally forgot. I've been neglecting my other 2 brushes.
Now you can pick up a different color and then almost change the look of your brush stroke by changing your brush, which is why I also brought in this little guy, and I love... I know they're usually put aside for kids, but these are again true workhorse brushes.
Do you know what I love about... Well, all right. I love both of these brushes for very different reasons, and I don't know if you ever use this for this purpose, but the Polar Flow, what I absolutely love about this brush is the end of it. It's got that chisel, and you can actually take the end of it and kind of get your marks back in there without actually leaving graphite or the other marks, but you can kind of almost scrape back into it. This is one way I really love to sign my work.
Genius.
Kind of sign your name back into it, especially with the smaller brushes. Now, with this...
Mind blown. Oh my gosh.
I like to use this side for dots.
Yep. Oh my God, we think so much alike. Oh, and see, I love what you've done. I literally love.
You said we need a punchy color.
Boom.
Right?
Boom. And now for you, this is very soft. If that's punch enough, beautiful. But I wonder, and see, that's what gets me in trouble. I wonder what would happen if you like punched it with that.
Well, let's try it. I mean, let's give the
man,
red give the red a whirl. Don't ruin it.
No, don't you do you. But I thought you were gonna do dots or something to like test drive it. But she goes all in already. So you test drive.
Go big or go home, right?
Yeah, don't
This
look.
one I feel like I got.
Oh, there you are. Okay, good. Because see, it's just a punch. Boom.
But I feel like I need it elsewhere.
Absolutely.
To kind of continue it along.
And a lot of times
Right.
what I do is it's almost like a push-pull situation. I put something over here and then I put it over there and then I put it over there and almost like in 3 spots.
That's a good rule of thumb. That's actually, we use that in illustration a lot, is that you have like a color reoccurring in at least 3 spots of your canvas to give it continuity and make your composition kind of work together.
Learning.
Hey,
And that's
Rhonda on
representation.
Facebook is wondering if
Hey,
RNF, I got really southern on that, RNF crayons can be used for the, with the acrylic paints.
That's a good one. I've seen those, but I've never tried them because I believe when I walk in store, they're in the oil aisle and it's like kryptonite. I never go down
Isn't
that.
They're
RNF
pigment sticks.
Yes.
Pigment sticks and encaustic sticks.
I was gonna say, that's the one thing.
Pigment
Encaustics
sticks,
are...
oil sticks.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Encaustics
you.
are very, very different because it's melted wax. And pigment sticks are
Good one, Rhonda.
fantastic.
I've never tried it.
But it always depends. I feel like it depends on which stick you use, and what medium you're using.
That one's one Rhonda wins because she
I'm
stumped
trying to
us.
remember
I've never
what is
tried
the
it.
RF pigment sticks? What's the binder in that? I can't off the top of my head
Oh,
remember.
I just had it up.
Good one, Rhonda. Good,
That is a very good question
good one.
because I feel like that would be a fantastic tool to just kind of scribble around.
I
Wax?
believe it's beeswax.
So it should work with this, but just remember that if you do put that down, you're now going to probably have some kind of a resistance to any upper layers, which could be cool.
At the very end.
So
Worth a
because
try.
wax kind of resists water naturally. So if you do build up that kind of layer, you'll have like almost like a resist layer. I feel like is what it would do.
That's an excellent one because I've never tried those.
Yeah, I like
Sorry.
it.
I just like
Distracted.
I get so into it and then time flies, so somebody has to keep me on task. And I'm looking at mine realizing that I always end up doing landscapey looking situations.
It's really fun.
They're very satisfying. Though. They're gorgeous.
I don't know. I guess I just do it and I just play and I just make messes and I don't even think about it because for me, in all honesty, I love the process and then
It's such a
the end result. It's like, oh yay, great, let's go do it again. So I don't
can
ever
totally understand that now.
get into. Oh, I should do this. I'm gonna move to my tiniest brush for a second.
Okay.
Because and this is still a little bit wet, but I can kind of show you without it mixing. And I put it here because remember how we place things, but
Okay.
I just kind of want to show you what I would do next. I'm gonna make my punch color like a part of it because I feel as though I'm satisfied with this background. It almost reminds me of like fire in the sky or something. I don't know why.
Beautiful sunset.
A beautiful.
That's what I'm seeing. It's like, you know how you see the sunset with like the trees as like the dark,
That's
because the
exactly
light's
what I was
kind of being
going
blocked
for.
away.
I was just putting paint down. But
Whether
now,
or not that was your intention. That's the cool thing about abstracts is that
Babe.
anybody brings their own personal interpretation. And that's what I love about it, but I struggle so
you are
hard.
look at how fantastic that is, though.
I made dots.
Oh my god! I thought you were gonna say I made that, and I was like, yes, and you're like, I made dots.
I made dots.
But do you see? Like, I love this punch
That's
with
so
all
pretty.
of this, and it was just finding it by accident in my notebook that led me to this whole. Now, I mean, I feel as though anytime I pull these colors out, a painting just kind of does itself, and I don't even have to think about it, and
just
that's
kind of
where I
comes.
go. And now let's just pretend, since we're at the end of it, if you will, now we've got our clothes on for that dinner party. Now we're just
I
putting
forgot
on
we were
our
putting
accessories.
clothes
Absolutely. You
Okay.
see, you went right on past it.
Yeah.
But now we're just putting on our jewelry, getting ready
Okay.
to leave. So
All right.
we're kind of accessorizing it.
We gotta
This
be
is where
fancy.
you can make your marks and have fun. I always feel as though when people say, like, what happens if I go too far and I ruin it?
Yeah.
I always look at them and say, then stop it where you love it, do another one and push that one. And you'll always find that you love the one you pushed more than you love the one that you left safe. But leave it safe.
Okay.
I'm not mad at safe. But do another one and then just push it to the way that you want it.
Okay.
I feel like you're holding back, and
I just
there is
don't.
another one.
All right, so
Oh.
that we do have extra canvas down here just in case. Just in
Use
case, 'cause
this,
this-
and put some
okay.
graphite or something like dark. Do you know you did what?
I just got paint on me.
Oh, she just got paint on her. Sorry, world, we're gonna have to pause. She's got paint. No, just kidding. Yes.
Have either of you ladies used the gloves in a bottle with alcohol ink? Rebecca
nope.
was saying she wears
Not.
gloves, but inevitably she gets paint through the gloves.
Same.
Yes. I've done that before. To be 100% transparent, I don't love gloves in bottle. I don't like how it feels on my skin.
Shit, no, I'm just kidding.
It's all-
personal preference again.
It is
see?
all personal preference.
Yep.
And I'm also one of those people that, like, I really don't mind if I get paint on me, but
I always feel like I have to feel it, so I,
I
can't
have not
wear
tested
gloves.
that
But-
myself. But it would give a good barrier. I feel like we can test this.
I think that's a
Not
test.
today, but
No, because I don't
we'll
have
have to do
alcohol
that,
inks. I always end up getting something on me, even if I'm closing the caps of the alcohol ink or something. It just literally
Opening a bottle, it just
there.
Goes
now
everywhere.
here we are.
all right. So
You can see where spots are dry. Your marks are gonna get darker and not just dig back into the canvas.
Okay.
So, like, if I make that same mark there, how I just love how rich and dark it is. But here, where this is wet, where I just did it, I'm just scraping away the paint, so it's not gonna leave a dark mark.
I actually did notice it did the same thing over here.
I love how you're repeating that with your graphite. Boom. And then do this too while you're at it. Flip it and see what you see.
Okay. This is not my process, but I love this, and I just love it. I would never have been like, oh, just turn it.
Flip it again
And- okay.
and see what you see, because it's boom.
You know what? I'm gonna go crazy and just go diagonal.
Right on down the free. But you see what I'm saying? That's what I love about it is
But this is a square canvas. I could hang this
You
as
totally
a diamond
could
if I
do.
wanted to.
it's whatever you want to do. That's the joy of it. So you just kind of keep going. And this is where I do that whole push and pull and put something here and put something there and like try to incorporate my colors again. So I'm going to clean this.
'Cause I also did actually, while turning it, realize that I had scribble here, but like it's just right in the middle. So I think I'm gonna need
And what's beautiful.
on the outside stuff.
You did bring up a very good point. If I'm at this point and I feel like I've gone too far, I literally will get more of that paint and cover up that mark like it never even happened. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then kind of start it all over again. You just, for me, I feel as though you can never mess it up. You're just learning. That's
Watch me.
you cannot. Ooh, and that would be gorgeousness with like a chunk of that dark. I'm so square. So I always end up doing squares, but
Ophelia,
yes.
do you always work with a limited palette, or do you ever just go crazy and put like 12 colors out?
That is a fair question, and sometimes I do, but then I get so overwhelmed, or I get in my head like, ooh, now which one? And then I start thinking, and then it's like, wait, this is wrong, and man, should I do that? Should I put... So I just keep it to... There are times when I literally have all of these out, but I split my palette down the middle, and because I work on a lot of things at once, so I'm working with this color palette, but then I'm over there while this one's drying, working on that one. So I do have it, but in all honesty, every single time I go in my studio, it starts with this pencil, making that mark, and I will literally, my paints are here, and I just kind of grab one to smear that mark back out. It's like I take this pencil, I make that initial mark, like, hey, canvas, guess what? I'm the boss of you. And then I put paint back, kind of apologizing to it, like, okay, I'm just kidding, I'm sorry. And that's kind of how it starts. And then I'm like, ooh, I bet you this would be pretty with that. It
It's a
just
love-hate
helps.
relationship.
Yeah, it just helps to know your colors, and then you don't even have to think. You just kind of roll.
I
Hey, you
removed
almost
my
made that
dot.
steel blue.
I did. I
Boom.
did. Yeah, because that was one of the palettes.
I'm gonna
I think
find
it was.
Hold, please.
We were looking at these
palettes.
palettes before we started, and there was one where she had a steel blue, and she was like, "I don't need that because I have the Payne's gray, and I think it was titanium
Here
white."
we are.
No, it was beige.
It was beige.
It was this one.
Boom,
Yeah.
and you made it.
And I
Boom.
unintentional.
Yes. So see, it's just.
And it's
So
you're right.
much
It
fun.
really does kind of punch it up quite a bit.
So the thing is, it's you literally do what you want, and learn your colors, then do what you want, because then you can do it with ease, and then it's fun. It's fun, and I do it because it's fun. If it were not fun, then I wouldn't do it. And I brought in this one because we just talked about it a 2nd ago, and then I forgot to even say anything about it. With my 700B, you see how it's a flat, so I get those flat square marks. I can take this guy and then again change my brush stroke,
Yeah.
or
Round brush.
I can go like absolutely crazy and do splatters or something. I'm not gonna do it
I'm
here.
gonna go
You see? Do you see? That's why I warned you, because I knew you'd be like, wait, we're gonna start
Splatters do
throwing
get
paint
everywhere.
But I could do
I mean, we
splatters,
can do
or I
this.
could do roundies, or
Roundies. What's a roundie?
It's a technical.
Okay. Technical term of the day,
It's-
roundy.
Yes.
Can you show me?
Ophelia, about how many layers do you usually work with? And if you want to make more, would you use mediums in order to make that happen?
I will like throw on a layer and get my background kind of the way I want it. I kind of start light and work my way down, or all over the place, and then like looking at clouds, you kind of see something in it, and then you build off of that. Sometimes it can be 2-3 layers. Sometimes it's even more, because I always work in pretty thin layers. I'm not a huge texture person, so
But you could do a lot of texture if you were using a
Absolutely.
panel or a heavier
absolutely.
canvas.
Yeah, that's the thing that I would say is a very valid point. If you are using a lot of mediums, if you're building up a lot
As
of
there's
weight,
texture.
yeah, because you're
palette
definitely
knife.
going to build up some texture with this paint, because it will retain those brush strokes.
There.
But if you are using those mediums and you're getting a lot of weight to your canvas,
Yeah.
your canvas will start to sag.
Yeah.
So that's where you might want to switch to like a Da Vinci Pro panel, where it's got that really sturdy structure. Which they come in raw birch, which would look amazing. Have
And
you ever
I still
used?
gesso everything. I'm sorry. It's a
That's okay.
what was
Clear
the
gesso.
boom?
There it is.
Ooh, Phineas, I know what we're doing tomorrow. Clear gesso. Changing my brush stroke to and another thing, which I always kind of put my hand here to level me off as I'm working across something wet. But I'm just gonna use this to make what did we call this earlier?
A roundie?
A roundies.
A roundie. I mean, it was your term.
Yeah. And if I realize like now that looks like a paw print or something, and maybe I don't want it like that, I can always do what you're doing and just come back in with more
Smearing
paint
it.
on top. And
It's not a bagel, Emmy.
that it's not a bagel. Valid. What I would do is let it dry before I try to go back over it, because remember that black, if I tried to go back over it with yellow, I'm going to
yeah.
make green. So I just kind of let that dry and paint right over it. If things get out of control where I don't like anything, gesso is my magic eraser. I just start it over, or like take out
Never
this bottom.
happened.
Yeah, and then we can completely start over with a new color palette. So it's just up to you to kind of play, and the more you play, the easier the play becomes.
That's true. So we'll say, at the beginning of this, I was worried, and now I'm just, look at me.
You have dirty fingers, you have dirty brushes, your palette was used up. I do like that punch of red.
I feel like I need a little bit more, though.
See, that's
Do I?
Do.
Ooh, this is where I will
do. Just do. Boom. Look at that. You can't tell me that you don't like that.
I do
Scribble
like that.
in it while it's wet, too.
Okay.
With your pencil. Why am I yelling at you? But scribble in it. I know, right? I got excited. Like, scribble in it. But you see what I'm saying now? I use my pencil to scribble things so that it doesn't look like I planned it perfectly. So I kind of make it blend in, if that makes sense. But it's, again, all of this is so personal preference. You might like that it looks pristine, Mark. I literally have paint all the way up my arms. But that's what I end up doing, is just putting it down, taking it away, putting it down, putting some here. I've got this blue here. I'm going to...
So how do you know when you're done?
That's hard. And that's
where
valid.
I'm like...
That is valid. It is a long time ago, and I'm gonna break into a story song here, but
love it.
I had a teacher that once said to me, and at first I honestly thought she was watching me struggle for 6 weeks,
Just
because I was
it.
driving the entire struggle bus, and I sat there, and she would walk by, and she never tried to take my brush and say, "Here, do this." She was like, "Oh, you'll feel it. Add graphite or add red or whatever." So now I've got a big pile of mud graphite. Great. And then she said to me, like, your paints will speak to you. And I thought, well, for 6 weeks, my paints have been silent. So we're doing really well. But she was genius in that she made me figure it out on my own. And the more you do it, they really do. So it kind of says, like, done.
Yep.
And you just walk away.
I'm feeling like I'm done. Does it feel like
so
it's
then
done?
you're done.
I feel
you're done.
how are we doing on time?
We got 13 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going for the 13
Are you
minutes.
really
I feel like I'm
serious?
done. But I'm gonna just
My
I'm
gosh,
gonna
our
keep going.
time is almost over. And I thought, what am I going to do for 1 whole hour?
Paint. Make
Have a blast.
Ophelia
giant
talks a lot.
painty mess.
With circly. I don't remember the word again. Sorry.
Roundy.
Roundies.
Yes, roundies.
Roundies. And don't forget to use your jumbo jet.
Oh yes.
Or do what you want. You know why? Because it's yours. Literally, it's yours.
Just drew a line through it.
Boom. Okay. That is fair. That is fair. Ooh, you could do something. I love that. You could do something hanging. Or
Hanging?
Like, put a little something hanging from one of the lines. I don't
Like-
know. Or a color, like a red. Or that steely blue. Now, or burgundy. A lot of it on your finger.
Mauve.
Up to mauve. That is
Mauve.
correct. And see, I'm not going to impart me on you, but I just love that.
I
And
do love
then-
this color. This is one of my favorites.
And then I start throwing in marks with it. You see? Hey, that's a circle. Like it's dangling. Yes. Yes.
You said dangle.
There you go. And then you just kind of keep going. I'm going to let this dry some more because I can even feel that my pencil is going through my paint and not actually making a solid dark mark.
All right, so you know what?
I'm gonna take that out.
I lied. I'm going to take this back. I'm going to see if I can do a speed painting real fast.
Boom.
Do you want to
Go.
do one?
I'm going to.
We have 2 more canvases. We're going to do this.
Let's do it.
Let's
You
speed
know what,
paint.
Emmy? I like your attitude.
Let's make one more big mess before our.
gonna
We have
put
10
this
minutes.
How many?
10 minutes.
And
ready?
go. Ding, 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 ding. Okay,
Oh,
why-
God, that's
why am
right,
I
you have to-
singing? Why? I need a little
I don't know
bit
what I'm
more
doing.
white. Oh, I should have made us switch color palettes. Yep, flip. Boom. Why am I yelling? I get excited and I yell. I can't help myself. Which one was this
Excuse
one?
my palette. My bottle just farted. I'm sorry. I have beige on there. Can I have your big one?
Absolutely.
The big brush.
I don't
I'll
know if
take
you want to
that.
touch it
I
here.
will
You sure?
That's fine.
It's dirty. Okay,
We have 10 minutes.
10 minutes. That's true. Why are we sketching out the details here? Let's just
I don't
go.
know.
And you know what? If
Okay,
you really
my
want
white
to do
paint turns pink, it was meant to be.
there, I just kind of, that's why I love these applicators. Like I can literally go right on the canvas And boom. And
Ooh, yes, I like this color palette.
do you see
This
how
is
like
fun.
the paints just kind of level themselves and just I always feel like I can never go wrong with these paints ever. So brush strokey, I usually use the side of my hand like a karate chop and make my way down. I know. You see, I know. I'm sorry, Emmy. That was peer pressure all over the place.
It was.
You know
what? I feel like it's peer pressure. We're doing it.
Okay. Yeah, now it's like, whoa, wait, what? How many more minutes do we have?
Just enough.
Just enough.
Ooh,
And it doesn't matter if we finish. And see, when I feel like I've taken it too far, I just pull some white to kind of settle me back down. Slow this thing down, Ophelia, and we start all over. Not start all over, but soften it up some so you can build it back. I am never.
I gotta remember to use my hands here.
Use your hands, use your brush. It just adds a different element to it. And
Actually, quite like that.
do you see? It's just
Where the paint's not quite mixed.
ooh. Okay, now we've taken this really
You've
far.
created a monster.
I'm not touching your paint. Hey, look what I'm doing. You just kind of go. Go. Alrighty. And then, I think I am going to use, oh my God. So you know when somebody sees that, they're going to be like, wait, what happened to your apron? Who beat you up?
Ophelia.
Ophelia did it, because
Ophelia did it.
I have that kind of, it's not peer pressure, effect
You
on
do.
people. Thank you.
I'm okay with this though.
Okay,
It's
see?
the best kind of like, just go at it.
Get in there.
Do this.
Well, and see, we don't even have time to think about it. So that's why we just, one of these times, hey, guess what? I just invited myself back. But
Wait, we need
we
Ophelia back
should
anyway.
totally do like a pass off. Like we start and then we pass off and then we start.
Yes, if you
Because
guys are
that's-
interested in that show, make sure you put that in the comments. If you want to see
Yeah.
us start a painting and then hand it back to the other person.
because then it's like you're totally having to give up control. And that's, it just brings a different vibe to it. See, I love how these colors just do
You know what? I'm
they
gonna scribble.
do. You scribble. You can do whatever you want. And
And I understand what you meant by your pencils are going
See?
to end up a little painty.
right here, I put them both side by side, and that's bothering me. I'm literally, because it's wet, I'm going to take my palette knife and scrape it right back out like it never even happened,
I like
and
it.
go right back over it. Because we know where the exit sign is. Do your own thing. I just literally made that. I don't know where I got that from, but it was fun coming out of my
I
mouth.
like it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, now these are exactly the same. So,
I feel like I just made it abstract polka dots.
Ooh. And I'm over here like, we're, mixing it up. And no, you really went for it, so I'm not
We
that
only
bold.
have 10 minutes.
This is true. However, I didn't realize we were supposed to finish it in 10. Okay, so can we start over, or?
No.
I thought we were just going to get it covered and just kind of hang out. Okay.
Just keep going.
And that's where,
That's why it's called a 10-minute speed paint.
this is true. This is true.
All right. I need dots. We need
You
dots.
do you, boo. I'm over here, like, talking, and that's why you got me off topic. Wait a minute, that's not it. Not
I
off
don't know.
topic. You got me off, focus. I stopped focusing because I thought I was still doing the cooking show and talking.
No. Well, I mean, you can, yeah, absolutely.
Because
We
I
definitely
don't really
still have to talk, but like,
paint and talk at the same time. Alrighty. Hey, now
I made dots. Now it just looks like it has like random mold spores just floating through. All right, any more of some paint?
Today's
Yes.
technical term is roundies.
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 Boop.
And the roundies were just like
Round.
dots in a round
Formation.
formation. Okay.
And
Round formation dots. Let's do this. All right. I have to do a roundie
boom.
since we're gonna do one up here. Boop, boop.
Ooh, I'm gonna try some of this. Hey, look at me just crossing right into your palette.
That's okay. I actually did that earlier to yours.
Yeah, it's all, see, we are sherry, and you'll notice both of these palettes work very,
They
very well
really
together.
do. They're so interchangeable. And I love that punch of the mauve. Like, that's lovely.
I didn't even, you said like hurry, so I just grabbed something, and it's still, so I guess technically, I don't remember who asked the question, but we could pour all of these out together and do things with them that you want to do with them, because it totally works.
Yeah, they
Yeah, I'm
definitely
not
do.
mad at our colors here. Nope.
I feel like these are your colors. This is the signature Ophelia color.
It's easy. Okay, I literally have paints on my elbows, but that's okay. We're not going there with you because you're gonna get. Oh,
Is that a challenge? Do I need to like?
no. I'm just hoping like, were we supposed to keep this situation clean? Because I'm also not clean
Nah.
about it. Okay, but I do want to see what happens. That's always what gets me. I wonder what will happen if explosions start. But I want to see. Like, I just love the red. Lucas, I want to marry you. They just don't make a bad paint.
It's such a pretty
Everything.
paint every
goes.
time. Like all the different colors, they have their different. Like, you ever like use a paint and then it looks yummy? You're not allowed to eat paint. Everyone out there watching,
But it does.
But it just has
visually.
that like it just looks yummy. Like that's what that cobalt teal does for me because it's just that color that appeals to me very much. But like,
Yes.
if I could just have cupcakes with that.
And like their watercolors, I've even gone in first with watercolor on a canvas just to throw some color at it. Not that it's going to stay there once I hit it with acrylic paint, and everything is just gloriousness.
Now, I am gonna make
You.
purple.
I think you're doing fantastic. I keep forgetting to focus on what I'm doing. So I stop painting and start looking at you or talking. And then I'm like, oh, that's right, we're supposed to finish this.
See, that's the thing is that you just told me you can't look, right?
Just do.
I'm looking at you.
Hey. Hey.
I just
Hey.
painted. This
That's what it
works
is.
so well.
That's literally.
I'm going to just do a little purple
I think I'm gonna do
bloop
some
here
of
and there.
this. And then,
All right, how are we doing on time?
how are we doing on time?
2 minutes. I feel like
Gosh,
I got.
I made it.
Like I think we're.
I
Getting
feel like
there.
I'm done because I don't know what else to do with
That's
this.
pretty
I need.
though.
No, it's not. Come on, stop.
Do you want to switch for the next 2 minutes?
Now you're pushing it because
Ophelia,
then.
I feel like you need to get like a book page or something that inspires you and like attach it in the like open area. I'm dreaming about it.
Phineas, I know what I'm gonna do later.
Oh, yes,
literally,
send me a picture.
I'm going to. Oh my gosh, collage on it.
See, this is where we
Thank
go down
you.
the rabbit hole and
Literally,
we just end up art.
but that's
making art
exactly
for-
what I'm gonna do, and then kind of
ages.
cover it to let some of it peek.
I like it.
And then Emmy's gonna give me hers, and I'm gonna give you mine. And
You get the other one.
you get the other. I mean, we've got like 17 of them going. We got to start another one. No,
We
but-
have one more.
and I have paint.
Still painting.
Like, but
Yeah,
literally,
you went a little wild.
you know,
with
I
that. You
get
have like
into my
14
work.
tools in your hands.
I
too.
know. Sorry.
No, don't ever apologize.
You're right.
Never apologize for your art.
Never ever, because you're having. I should, as long as you're having fun. That's my test, and that's what I tell my students. You know, that's our meter. Did you improve? Did you have fun? Are you being a good person? We're good.
I like that.
And there we are.
Someone needs to make that into a t-shirt.
Mine.
All right, I think mine went a little wild.
I like it though.
You are not the only one with
This is
paint on
grounded.
your arm now.
Do you know what I mean? It like grounds
definitely-
the whole thing.
yeah, it
Mine's
definitely
still out
does.
there. Oh wait,
Your
don't
seam's
put your
very
pencil
ethereal
in.
though.
Just
Pencil in the water bucket.
I
I think.
never trusted. We're done.
Yeah, no, I think you've successfully made me
You've done
abstract.
Boom. And what's great is you didn't even think about it. Look at what you did. We gotta put one in your refrigerator.
That's a large painting for my refrigerator.
I know, but
I
we're
like
gonna make
this.
it work.
I want a gold star.
But It is. You just let go. That's what it was, and that's kind of how you did it. You didn't
Yes.
even think. You didn't judge yourself. You just played with me. I appreciate you all playing with me today.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It was so much fun.
You're gonna hug me with
hugs.
okay.
Painty hugs. You guys, make sure you show her some love in the comments. Ophelia is
thank-
amazing, and we got to make sure we bring her back on the show. But I hope you enjoyed that wild painting abstract shenanigans.
It was
That
fun.
was amazing, and I feel
Stop it,
like
Ophelia, stop
your
it.
process is so approachable for so many different people.
There you are.
Beginners, professionals, and I mean, I'm a professional artist, and abstract
You're
scares
great.
me, and it no longer does. I
You
think
just do
I'm.
it. I think you're a
I'm-
pro. Emmy, the abstract artist. But new cards made. Thank you.
Well, that was the show, guys. So I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you check out that teacher's card if you are interested in any of those materials that we use. Again, go to jerrysartorama.com and type in today's class code, which is JL246. And of course, you got to make sure you join me next week because I'm actually going to be doing a mixed media show. I'm going to be coloring over a graphite drawing, which is going to be so much
Oh,
fun.
I can't wait to watch. Yes. Literally can't.
So make sure you guys join us next week, and I will see you then. And are you ready?
Do we dance?
You dance.
Okay.
We will see you next
Any kind
time.
of
Bye.
Bye.